Okay, let's draw a pair of eyes. And we're not going to draw these too big right now. But maybe I should zoom in so you can see it. Yeah. Sort of. I'm going to try to kind of quickly sketch out a number of eye pairs and help you figure out how to lay these things out. And so I'm just gonna sketch where the brows are first. And then we'll start to put in the eyes themselves, the iris, colored part of the eyes, some of the lines for the shaded areas on the lower eyelid. Alright, try to make them kind of sit right. Oops, didn't mean to do that. You want your irises to be about the same size. About the same size. All right, so we've got on both sides, we've got the upper eyelid. Hi, Kai.
Hi, Dad. I'm putting your trash.
All right, thank you.
Welcome, my boss.
Nice work.
Thanks.
That was my 7-year-old taking out the trizash. This is eyebrow up here. I'm not gonna really put in hair so much as just gonna shade it right now. Very lightly. Better zoom out. All right, so I wanted to zoom in so you could see it, but then you couldn't see it. Okay, so then there's shading on the bridge of the nose on this side. That's going to come down a little ways. And some shading underneath the eye on this side. And then there's the crease of the upper eyelid. It's going to start to show up. Shading over here. Shading around the eye to show the definition. Where the eye is going to sit. It's interesting, the fact that all of us inside of our heads, behind our skin, have a skull. And it's the eyes sit in the holes of the skull. And when you start paying attention to it, you really see it on everybody's face. You see where their eye sockets go in, and that really around their eyes is this big skeleton hole. And it can be kind of creepy actually to to think about, but it also can help you draw, because the realism comes from put the reflection over here. The realism comes from those little details. Not sure I have these eyes lined up properly. I'm drawing this on an angle so I can put it up on the video. So there's some pupil, and then we'll start putting in some color and some value range around the iris. It's fun to draw eyes. So what I'm doing is drawing like, I'll be more explicit on this one, drawing like spokes going in, but I'm not drawing them very dark. I'm drawing them really light, and then I'm kind of blending them out. And I'm doing it kind of fast, and I'm also doing like lots of little circles, because I don't really want to have a lot of clear lines in these pupils. I just want them to be dark at the edge, and I want them to really look like light shining through them. So these are masculine eyes. So I want to make sure when I draw the eyelashes that I don't make them too girly, too feminine. Whenever you put eyelashes on a drawing, sometimes there's a tendency to draw them in a feminine way, because most of the eyelashes that we see in cartoons and stuff are on female characters. A lot of times on males, they don't even draw eyelashes, even though men obviously have eyelashes, and some have very long eyelashes. So it's the shading around the eye. What I was saying earlier when I was talking about the eye sockets and the fact that we all are faces sitting on top of a skull. So that shading you can kind of see here. There's an eye sitting there in an eye socket, which is, those two holes in the skull. Some people get freaked out by skulls and skeletons, but all of us are one. Just have flesh on top of it. We have life, but our life sits on the frame of a skeleton. Okay, so I'm just going to draw some very small lines going down. Try to not make these look very feminine. Some guys have very curly eyelashes, but curly eyelashes. I actually have pretty long eyelashes myself. Curly eyelashes are often considered to be a feminine trait. So you have to be careful. All right, so then there's some areas where there's a little reflection on the upper eyelid, and there's some other creases. And every little detail that you add Makes it look a little more believable. And so you don't have to always, draw every detail. But it's fun to, pay attention to some of them and just see what makes a difference and develop your own style. What makes you express better? What about what's the details that you emphasize? That's how it starts to become your art. When there's certain things you just always put in there, and then maybe some things you don't put in there. And sometimes you don't put them there because you don't see them, but more often, well, maybe, I don't know. I'm not an expert on that question, why people include and don't include things in their art. But I do know that when I watch people draw, a lot of times the things that they think are so bad and weird about their drawing is actually really interesting and cool. It defines them. And I think some of the most interesting art comes from people that take something and make it their own. They tweak it, and sometimes they happen upon the tweaking on accident. And then sometimes they start to realize, well, that's what makes me me. So they start to accentuate it. Now, there are eyelashes, but I don't want to draw them too dark. You have to be careful when you're drawing male eyelashes not to make them too pronounced. Because they might start to look too feminine. So I'm just going to put in a couple little hints of eyelashes under the lower eyelid. Just going to darken this a little bit upper. Make sure I put some shading and shadow on the inner part of the eye, and then there's some tear duct that I need to make clearer. Okay, and I'm going to stop there.